Has this been a little bit of inspiration to you in the way you choose your music and at all, or was this influential at all in your music now?
Of course. You know, it's always about the audience. It was always about the audience because you're performing for somebody, and when you're performing, you want to be in connection with the person that's listening to what it is that you're performing. So if the person's falling asleep, if the person's not digging what you're doing, if the person can't snap his finger to your fast, upbeat song, then there's something wrong. So I make a lot of effort in making sure that connection is always there.
Yeah.
And whether it's eye contact, whether it's just, you know, making sure that person knows every little feeling that's coming out of my saxophone musically. And it's imperative that they know what's going on in my mind when they listen to my music.
Okay. In the way you play your music, I mean, because you're human, you have all these emotions, you know, sadness, happiness, and things like this. How is this portrayed into your music?
Well, me being the optimist, sadness is just a stepping stone to where I am today. And if there wasn't a sadness, there would have never been a happiness.
Yeah.
So you're mixing all these emotions, and you know it's really hard to just pinpoint the exact emotion that I'm feeling when I'm performing. But whatever it is, it's important to deliver that emotion in your music.
Yeah.
And whether it be sad or happy. I mean, there's a million songs out there that represent sadness. You know, whether you're brokenhearted, you know, someone really hurt you, scarred you, and you're trying to deal with it. And then there's other songs where you're just joyful and just happy and you're just thankful. And I think in music you really have to deliver that. So.
What about times growing up in the stateside and you're, you know, an Asian kid, a Korean kid? We talked about this.
Yes, I am an Asian kid, Dorothy.
we talked
Thanks
about
for pointing that out.
in the first show, and the hardships of that as you're growing up. I mean, of course, saxophone is something that you picked up in the middle school, but tell me your hardships, you know, through maybe before the saxophone or during the saxophone. Was there a hardship that you went through at all?
Well, going back to what we were saying before, where the grass is green on the other side. Yeah, I mean, growing up and just being very immature at the time, I always was very angered about why am I being ridiculed for my ethnicity in this Caucasian neighborhood. And, you know, I think because of that experience, it kind of it put me in a situation where I desired to be more intuitive to myself.
Sure.
And if it wasn't for that, I would have never desired to start music in the first place. Because you really have to really know yourself, or you know you really have to have a good understanding of your emotions in order to be able to express that through music. And that desire was so great that I had no choice but to start music.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That's really good. Now, if you weren't doing music, where do you think you would be? If you weren't a saxophonist?
Me, man, I think everyone's different. Everyone has a different permutation of different gifts. Me personally, I don't know, just I've always seen the broad perspective of every project. So I think I have a lot of, I guess, I have a lot of management skills, I think. I have a lot of, that's why I guess I produce a lot of my records. I produce a lot of my shows. I even host my own shows a lot of times. So that's been a great plus. I think being able to, you know, feel what other people are feeling, I guess 101 of psychology, right? Understanding the super id of the opposite person. You really need to have a great understanding of that in order to relate to people
Yeah.
and to have a conversation. And, you can have a conversation with people, not necessarily through words, but just through eye contact
That's
alone.
right.
Because the eyes are the window to people's soul. So,
That's right.
and you need that understanding in order to deliver your music to the other person.
That's very true. What about now, on the flip side, coming to Korea? Tell me about a hardship coming to Korea. You came into Korea already with some people knowing your music, right? Is that, or did you actually start, doing more music here in Korea?
Okay, well, I went to the Berklee College of Music. And I was their guinea pig. I was like one of their 4 full scholarship recipients.
Oh, wow.
Basically, they work you. Oh, they don't give you that money for free.
Yes.
They make sure you work for it.
You pay back everybody.
Exactly. You're their guinea pig. It's like, all right, we're using you as a role model to get other students to come to our school.
Especially Asians and
Yeah,
Koreans.
yeah. So I was, I guess, their golden pick.
Yeah.
And I think it was a great experience.
Yeah.
For the most of it. Anyways, so by the time I came out to Korea, there was already this buzz and this hype about Danny Jung, so it was kind of crazy because I stepped into the country and a lot of people in the music industry had heard of me because I guess some of my shows in Berkeley were aired in Korea. So and that kind of really helped me get my foot in the door.
Yeah. And, because I remember was it 10 or 12 years ago already, but I did see you, and you were at church, I'm passing, and people were already saying, hey, isn't that Danny Jung, the saxophonist? And this was that long ago,
Oh, okay.
And, we're here talking on our talk show now. And at that time, when you first came to Korea, was this your first time in a long time you visited Korea, or this is when you just come back now to Korea after?
I'm always traveling, so I really don't remember when the exact time is, but as a traveling musician and as a working musician, or let's use the word artist, it's very important that people know that I'm always nearby. So I never tell people my travel plans. Like, hey, I'm in LA, I'm going to the States, I'm going to Korea, because, if they start feeling that you're not around all the time, and they don't call you up, they don't ask you to come out for the hang. So I never let people know I'm leaving the country. I always leave my phone on 247 availability mode.
Right.
So it's like I could be in Korea and